Hey, Keith Krantz here, and I'm here with Nita Chakrabarty, and she's a relationship and leadership coach who helps high performing men find emotionally fulfilling partnerships that match their lifestyle and values. And she's helped a lot of men find the right woman, that queen. What type of men typically come to you?
The type of men that I normally attract, and they're in my container right now, are successful, visionary, high performing, or high caliber. Just really means that they have prioritized their career, they're prioritized building businesses, making money most of their lives. They weren't necessarily prioritizing being in a relationship or finding the woman. They might have been dating here and there, but that hasn't been their main priority. Their purpose has been their main priority. So they've been building businesses and they might be in their late 30s to 50s. And now they're really ready to find that woman. They still have the growth mindset. So it's not like they're going to stop their business and retire. It's more like, I am ready to share my life with my partner. And they're done chasing and they're done dating and done going on dating apps because it hasn't been successful. Maybe they attracted women. They are what I call like the princesses. Initially, they're beautiful, stunning, magnetic. Then later on, they notice that they become more clingy. They need more reassurance. And basically, these men, they become their providers and like the father architect. She is going through emotional roller coaster. She becomes their project. And that's not what they want. They want a true partner. This is a partnership when they're out there in the dating apps, it's crazy out there. You attract these women who want to be taken care of and provided for, and that's beautiful, right? But there may not be like the high value, emotional, intelligent woman that you want as your partner. Really can understand your true purpose, your businesses, things that you care about.
How do you even know how to find somebody like that? That's like a two-part question. Is it also where maybe they think they found someone like that initially? They're looking because they don't have the right beacon on, you know?
Of course, a lot of men don't have the time if they're high caliber, high performing, they're running businesses, they don't necessarily have the time to date. So when they go in the dating pool, they scroll and they're like, okay, I'm not going to make time for this. And then there are other men who are finding themselves in a situation like the apps are not working for them. I have men who work with dating coaches and matchmakers, and that hasn't worked out for them. I can give you an example. There's a man in my container who has been married before, hasn't worked out. He went back into dating apps and he was telling me the crazy, chaotic stories he's been through. He's very adventurous and outdoorsy, fit. He's a great man and he has lots of options. He's just trying to find that partner that meets him. And he has a daughter as well. So that meets the lifestyle. Right. So his values are very important in this sense. What are his core values in his life and what are his core values in his relationship? And a lot of it tends to be very unconscious. We think our values are integrity, freedom, but a lot of other values that we're quite not aware of. So I make those aware as well. But what he was finding in the dating apps are these women that really wanted to be taken care of, but he values spending time with his daughter, his relationship with his daughter, and making sure that his partner also loves that. And he noticed that, okay, obviously these women are not emotionally mature enough to be his partner. Then he got a matchmaker, find more stable women. Let me find women who are running businesses, who are emotionally mature, they look great on paper. And then he started dating them and they're great. They can be really great business partners. Then he realized there were no chemistry between them, but they were great role model for his daughter. So he settled for them, right? He went to two extremes, realizing that neither of these are working for me. But then my daughter has this amazing relationship with this woman. I cannot let her go. So he was staying too long in relationships that were working for his lifestyle and his daughter, but not the true desire. So all of this is really finding out what is your authentic desire. Who are you in your authentic self? Especially men. They're such great providers. They're such great leaders. They take care of so many things and they give, give, give. And they realize over time they're giving so much, they're exhausted, but they never communicate that. And in our society, it's expected of them. So being selfish and really looking at what you truly desire and admitting that it makes men look selfish, but it's not true. Being selfish is the most important thing you can do because it gets you to your authentic desire. So once he truly admitted, okay, I really want a woman with a great chemistry. I don't necessarily need her to run a business, but I need her to actually be nourishing to me because his mother was absent in his childhood. So he doesn't know how to receive love. He wants to receive love, but he doesn't know how to receive love. These women, none of them could actually give the love that he was wanting. So once we worked together and we opened that apart with deep work, he was able to finally see and talk to his daughter too. Hey, I know you have this great relationship with her, but we need to break up. And no matter how devastated his daughter was, she totally understood. And then he started finally seeing his inner world matched his outer world when he started working on receiving love and truly admitting to himself what he really wanted. And what he really wanted was not selfish, he was just choosing himself. And his next relationship was that high value woman, is emotionally intelligent, mature enough to be in his life, also adventurous. You can really see once a man truly admit what they truly desire after all the layers have been taken off by societal condition, what's expected of them, what he thinks is the best for other people before even looking at himself, then you actually manifest what you want.
Interesting. That one's kind of similar to me. Like one of my previous partners was like everything was just like we were so connected in business, right? And we met through business. And she was really great. We helped each other. It was really like there was a great synergy there. And I had a son and she was great. She was amazing with helping integrate a lot of parenting stuff with him. He was very young at the time, but there was something really missing for me. And I remember I had people that I worked with that desperately didn't want us to break up because they saw her positive impact on the business. And
Right.
so, but there was no that desire you're talking about, that true desire, and some of these other things weren't there. And I could see a lot of high value, successful men running into that conundrum, dichotomy as well, right?
Especially you built a community, you have a great
Yeah.
friendship, and that she's helping you with your business and gets along with your son. It's great on everything else, but something is missing. Is it chemistry? What is that? And in my framework, it's polarity. Let's say you're a masculine man. In the masculine end, and these are energetic, so masculine, feminine, and you're in this spectrum. If you are 70 to 80, 90%, because you're not always going to be 100, you fall in the high testosterone masculine man, you want to be with the opposite end, which is the more feminine women. They might have like about 20, 30% masculine energy, but they are 70% feminine. That's the opposite of trap physics. And this is how polarity works. Now, if you are attracting women who are more, let's say, masculine energetics, they're great business partners. They're not necessarily the best lover for you. And if you're seeing that mirrored to you, it's just more so leaning into your masculine core. That's the word. It's more you lean into your masculine core. Then that woman, if she is meant to be your lover, she's going to start feeling safe in her body and she's going to become more feminine. So it starts with you. It starts with the
Yeah.
man. Then when the
Okay.
man leans more into his masculine, the feminine opens.
So, do you work with people that have partners already? So they're with somebody and they are able to start to elevate and step more into their masculine. And does that impact their partner? If you're watching this right now, you're thinking, well, I'm not dating right now. I'm married or I have a partner. So tell me a little bit more about how making changes within you actually can impact your partner. Right? Everybody sees the issues with their partner, right? So do you see that happening as people change, their partner changes, or is like now they're like, oh, it's too late. This person's not feminine enough for me, so I'm gonna have to move on.
What I see is we tend to either stay too long in our relationship or we don't give a relationship enough chance. So if they're already in a marriage and let's say the chemistry fades away, I do have men in my container that comes to me and then we call it like the marriage reboot. Whether they're married or a long-term relationship, what's happening? They become roommates. They no longer become the lover archetype. Or maybe the woman is nagging him so that she becomes more of the smothering mother archetype. What happens is when I work with these men and they change their energy, they get back more into their authentic self, their masculine core, and the women start to communicate differently. Because I teach the men how to communicate his desires, his needs, and then show up as that. For the men, it's more about the embodiment. It's showing up as present, grounded. When she is spiraling, can you be that mountain for that storm? Can you hold space for that? And women get no pass at this. Women also need to learn how to regulate with themselves. So in the previous life, I also worked with women and taught them this. And they were the ones who were like, wait, men also need to learn this. That's why I came into doing men's work, because in this men's work, there's a lot of books, a lot of podcasts and everything out there, men teaching men how to work with women, how to decode women, how to understand women. But there's no feminine voice in this, where a feminine mirror that can actually tell you what is the lived experience of a feminine. When we do one-to-one work with, especially with the men, I'm a feminine mirror to them. So they get to practice and it's our dojo, and then they take it into their real life.
So, two-part question. Part number one is, I noticed there isn't a lot of men out there that actually do get coaching for their relationships, for dating or for their current relationships. And then the ones that do, they're either in a they're younger and they're just like the dating game stuff, right? Pretty surface level, how to the pickup artist, whatever you want to call that niche industry. And then there's these maybe more conscious, there's men's groups, right? There's these men's where they go out and for 3-4 day events and they go out in the wilderness and they're working on each other, working on themselves. My guess is a lot of men, conventional wisdom, if they get to that point. So number one is, why should they do coaching for, like, why should they go seek this? And number two, working with a woman, maybe explain a little bit more the difference between getting help from a man in this area and expand on that, the mirror metaphor that you talked about.
I always say, of course, please have a container where you can have men's group work with another man. I highly support that. The reason you want to work with a woman and you want to be coached by a woman is you are working with the feminine. You need a feminine mirror. So your deepest core wound when it comes to love and a relationship and relating with the opposite sex, it is a feminine wound that you just don't feel safe with the feminine. So when you work with a coach, and in this area, one of the deepest wound I work with is the mother wound. Your mother was your first love, and she has taught you how to love. She has taught you how to receive love, how to give love in many ways. Your father teaches you boundaries. So in the men's group, they learn being a warrior, boundaries, anger release, many other things. But without a feminine mirror, you cannot transform and heal the mother wound. And that's where you want to work with someone, coach like me, who not only trained in this stuff and trained in men's psychology, but also where you can actually learn to feel safe with the feminine to transform the mother wound that has been imprinted.
What would be considered a mother wound? What kind of mother wounds are there?
Every man has different imprinted mother wound or their first caregiver that's a feminine. Let's say you have a mother who was quite absent in your childhood. So when I say when you have an absent mother, it doesn't always mean like you didn't have a feminine figure in your early childhood, it just means she wasn't emotionally available for you. You took it so personally in your little child's brain, you're going to go about your entire life trying to prove your worth to the feminine because you never quite felt worthy of being nourished and loved. I have to prove myself to receive love. So you go out there your entire life achieving, and a lot of high achieving men fall into this category. You're doing all the things to prove your self worth. And it's about understanding you didn't receive that unconditional love from your mother. You just feel like you're not enough. So you have to prove, succeed, build businesses, make money. And this is one of the core mother.
And also, could that be someone might think, well, my mother was there the whole time. Maybe there were split parents, or she could be there, but maybe she was so focused on something else.
You have an absent mother. She wasn't absent. She could be absent emotionally, right? She could be there, but she could have been really hard on you. She had high expectations of you. Typically, fathers have this, but mothers are also like this. Like they're there, but she was working. She was busy with other things. Yes, there was dinners on the table. Everything was fine, but she wasn't emotionally available for you. So when I say when you have an absent mother, it doesn't always mean like you didn't have a feminine figure in your early childhood. It just means she wasn't emotionally available for you. And there could be other instances where your mother was available, but she was too much. She was too smothering. She had what I call the anxious attachment style. So she was always there to protect you, always there. And you are like, oof, I don't want, it's too much for me, mother. And that's what happens in your whole life with the feminine too, because your mother was too much, you push away the feminine.
Got it. That makes sense. Rings true for sure. A little bit of both of those, actually.
It's not one or the other. There's so many layers and nuances, and each person has a different blueprint. That's why this stuff is curated to who that person is. Not everyone has the same, what I call the trauma imprint. You have different blueprints. So you can make it very generic. You can make it say, if you had a narcissistic mother, these are your symptoms. That's not the case. It's not just so black and white.
And then what happens is there's that subconscious almost attraction to somebody that fulfills that, right? That fills that need.
Let's just say if you haven't healed your mother wound, you're literally going to repeat the same cycle over and over again in your relationship. Let's say any phase of your life, even if it's outside of your romantic partnership, at work, you're going to have the work wife or one of your best friends who's a female are going to be your mother archetype, and they're going to show you your biggest mirror, what's inside that needs to be healed. For conscious men who are aware of that and they want to work with me, this is the work that we do, is seeing what patterns that have continued in their life up until now and what's been shown to them. We're men and women. Of course, we're human, but we're biologically different. Because we're biologically different, we're also energetically, mentally very, very different. So we're here. Our deepest purpose is connection, relationship. Expansion can only happen if we evolve, if we have a growth mindset to be in relationship with one another. And our deepest, most intimate relationships are with our partner, right? And so they're just going to reflect back to you who you are truly inside. So sometimes when you're seeing the same pattern attracting the same women over and over again, it's time to step back and slow down and say, what is this showing me? What is something that's within me that I need to look at?
Got it. Makes sense. So how do you typically work with clients? And how would somebody connect with you?
Right now, it's really one-to-one coaching for minimum 3 months. We look at what he has done in the past. First month is really uncovering a lot of these childhood trauma, the motherhood that we talked about. Second month is about being present and seeing what have we transformed. And now that we've resolved so much, what is that you truly desire? What is your authentic core being? What are your values? What are your non-negotiables in dating and a relationship? What kind of woman do you want? And then the third is the real transformation of integration. It's always about embodiment. I work with, of course, resolving the mother wound, also finding out your most authentic self. It's not about performance. A lot of men feel like they have to overgive, they have to do so much, but it's really about coming back to the core of who you are. So you don't have to change yourself to attract the one, attract the partner. You had the coaching at minimum 3 months, and we can continue. There's continuations of where you can also do one-to-one immersive and one-to-one retreat with me to do more of the deeper healing. When I say heal, it sounds so heavy and strong, but it's not like that. It can be fun. It's coming back to your most authentic self, getting to know yourself. That's what makes this really fun, is you get to explore and see the patterns that you hadn't seen before. When you work on one area of your life, all of your other areas transform. And for me, it's through love and relationship is your deepest transformation.
That makes sense. So when you're working with somebody, tell me a little bit about what it looks like, what their dating life or what their communication style is with their partner, when they in the beginning stages, maybe when they work with you, and then as they start to go through this work, how does this show up in their life?
One of my clients, he is
Mhm.
quite successful for where he is. And most of his life, he didn't have any relationship at all or any kind of like long-term relationship. And he dated, he has done a lot of work around this. And before he came to me, he's been through conscious fields. He's worked with what you call like the pickup artist. And what I'm getting is really surface level dating strategies, dating tips, right? So when he came to me, it's a more of a holistic process. I work with not just what's showing up in the surface. I work with let's get into your subconscious and let's figure out what you truly want in your life. What is your whole life that you want? It's not just in your partner. So what he wasn't getting before was he was getting dating tips, dating strategies. He was going on the apps. He's doing all the right things. And he was, of course, finding women, but it didn't feel the deep connection. Okay, say things like this, text like this, but in the deepest sense, this isn't about get the woman, do this kind of strategies. This work is more about how can you be core of who you are and communicate from that sense. We work on in my container is communication. How do you communicate with the feminine? How do masculine and feminine communicate differently? Men are driven by testosterone, so challenges. And many men in my container, they find a woman and they love the chase, right? They go after her, they do pursue her. He notices that he's always have to prove himself to get her. And once he gets her, there's no chemistry. You were driven by the challenge, driven by the pursuit, but in the end, she wasn't the one. Women are run by oxytocin. They're run by connection. So let's say you're in a relationship, a woman is nagging you or she's asking something of you and you feel that she's too much or she's asking something. She's actually what she's wanting is to be in more connection with you. She's saying that, hey, I want to feel like we're partners and this is something that's missing. And she's not might not be communicating that way, or the way she's communicating feels like your mother nagging at you. It's to decode that and understand that she wants to be in connection with you. So men are more independent, they're driven by challenges. But if a woman is wanting something from you, they want connection. But then when it comes to men in the society, they don't get appreciated a lot or validated. They're doing a lot, but no one is really recognizing them. They feel it's expected of them. So if a woman goes to this man and she's wanting something from him. Maybe she wants him to be more ambitious. Maybe she wants him to join one of the events she's doing. She could be like, baby, I'm so proud of you. You've been doing like all of these things. You're really showing up in my life. And I'm trying this new thing out. I'm trying this new event. It's really fun. And I keep picturing you in there with me. I feel like I could use your support in there. So if you're go to a man and speak like this way, he's more likely to be like, yeah, I want to support you. I want to be there for you. It turns on their testosterone. It turns on their, what I call the lion instinct. It's about communication, both in couple or working with the men. I just teach them how to communicate so they understand one another. And you don't have to fully understand someone. It's about decoding. It says fine. How many times is she actually fine?
My next question, right? So how do the guys listening? They're probably like, she's speaking a foreign language to me. How do I decode when she says this instead of this?
I think we just need to just admit that we're not the same animal. So we need to learn how to communicate with one another because we're driven by, as I said, completely different hormones, completely different cycles. Women have the menstruation cycle, so that's 28 to 32 days. So each week, she's driven by different hormones at different times. Her energy level is different. The only time a woman has 100% full battery, like a man, is for 3 hours one time of the month. Men have a 24-hour cycle. So from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., their testosterone high, that's when they have the peak energy. And over time, let's say after work, 5 to 7 p.m. is when they need to switch to their man cave. They need that alone time. Imagine that man comes home. The woman in a traditional household has been home working all day, and now she wants his attention, or she's telling him, you didn't take out the garbage, you didn't do the dishes, and he just came home from work. Oh my God, this is too much. So this is a communication issue. We're just not naturally understanding our biology. At that time, what that man needs is either his own time to go in his own cave and just relax, or she can even give him like a nice massage or something and not expect anything of him. That man can communicate from 5 to 7 p.m. I just need my own time. And then reassure, this has nothing to do with you. I just need my time and space. And baby, I'm going to come back to you and we're going to have our quality time together. We're going to have dinner after.
Love it. So basically, if you want all the code, so if somebody wants to like really talk about all these different situations and actually be able to really decode these verbal and nonverbal, I assume if they start a conversation with you, you can help them through a lot of these different scenarios so they're saying it the right way. Because to me, a lot of it too is the way you either ask that question or you present the option of me having my alone time around 5 to 7, and that might be different, I assume, also based on the situation, right? Based on their partner and their level of femininity. So I also know that one thing you have is this really cool thing where you have these 4 or 5 architects, like female architects or partner architects that typical men might end up with. Can you take me through some of those?
Yeah, I think we started talking about one of them, which is I call it the princess. She's beautiful, she's attractive, model like, and a lot of men are allured by her. And she's great. Over time, what happens is they become his project because she becomes dependent. She constantly needs reassurance. He's always solving her problem. So naturally, there's this like a father daughter dynamic that happens in these relationships. She wants to be well taken care of, princess treatment, and everything. But then she's not that high value, emotionally intelligent, and mature woman that could truly be his partner in this phase of the life. And if he's attracting that, it just means that he is an overgiver. So he needs to ensure that he really understands in his whole life he's been an overgiver. He had to prove his worth. So he just gives, gives, gives. And a lot of times also it falls under the nice guy syndrome as well. He's just too nice. He just does everything. He's generous. So he needs boundaries in this sense. Another archetype would be the mother archetype, someone who's a fixer, someone who takes care of you. So she tends to be that smothering mother because that's probably the mother you had, so you attracted her in your relationship. She really takes care of you and she really nourishes you. She does everything, right? So you get that nourishment, you get that mother type, but then you realize you don't really have any chemistry with her. dating her feels like she's trying to always fix you. She's always like criticizing you, pointing out little things.
That was 100%, yeah, for me. That was
You know,
my last that was a while ago.
another one, she's a very cool archetype, also very beautiful. And this is where the testosterone happened. Like you really want to pursue her, really want to figure out what her mystery, what is this all about? And you continue to do that. And but she's quite avoidant, or she could be very hot and cold. Some days she shows up, other days she's has no communication. So you get this hot and cold vibe for her. Like one day, like you guys are in love, next day, like she disappears. And this hot and cold that you get from her. So this is what another archetype that quite shows up, and you end up being confused because she definitely challenges you. Like that pursuit is there, but then and then there's that like chemistry is there some days. Is she ready? No, she's emotionally unavailable. She's not ready for a partnership. These high achieving men, especially when they really truly feel like they've built a life and they want a proper partner, they want a partner that really shows up. You need the lover archetype. You need a woman that can emotionally regulate herself. She's mature enough. She can follow your leadership, but even without your leadership, she has her life together. She has everything else together. Everything that she brings into your life is nourishing for you. It gives you the love that you want, and everything that you bring into her life also it makes her life easier. So it's a true partnership and a true polarity that actually works. A great woman can be in front of you, but she's not your right partner. And a lot of these men realize that when they're in this journey, they're realizing, okay, this woman is great, but this is missing. It's a journey of learning about themselves, like what's working for
Mhm.
them and doesn't work for them. And we go through this practice with the core values, the relationship non-negotiables. These are practical tools that we go through, not just the trauma healing and everything else.
I love it. So when someone comes to work with you, essentially, you're helping them learn much more about themselves and also learn more about what they want and how to spot what they want as well, the right woman. And then also simultaneously start to step into your divine masculine.
Especially in my practice, and the men that come, they are masculine driven. There's just been some layers, like a masculinity nowadays have been very, very confused. There's this feminist movement that confused the masculinity of our society and all these programming. There's red pill, all the things that are going on. What the heck are we supposed to do? I
Yeah.
can't open the door for a moment. Is this okay? This is about partner that can work with you, the partner that matches you. And again, you can have a great woman in front of you, a great man, but they're not going to be the best partner. Being a good woman, being a good man doesn't mean it works in love. And the love is also not enough. You can love someone so greatly, but if you don't have these other things that I mentioned, like men need to be respected to lead. So that's their natural core stepping into their divine masculine, as you put it, is a natural divine masculine leads to society. This is why I work with men, is because once they can feel back in their masculine again, because this whole toxic masculinity, red pill, and the feminist movement have thrown off the polarity altogether. But who are the true leaders of the society? Who are the ones that are actually running the world? Men's leadership. There's certain jobs that can only men do. That's okay as a woman for me to admit, because we have a lot of other qualities. We have great intuition. You need both. And these are energetic. The men that I work with tends to be more in their masculine. And it's for them to lean into the core of masculine instead of being performing as a masculine. Let's get back into embodying it. Let's get back to getting in your grounded sense. Being fully present is very masculine. And when you're fully present, you make the women and the children, everyone feel more safe to be their more authentic self. And truly, what I've seen that work in my practice is our natural biology. When we lean more into the femininity for women, that's their truest, deepest desire is to turn off their brain. When a man asks, "Hey, what do you want for dinner?" We've been working all day. I don't want to think about what I want for dinner. Sometimes it's really nice when the masculine can lead. Here's two choices. What do you want? That's it. Or I'll pick you at 8 p.m. So these are some of the things we work through as well. How to actually talk to her that touches her soul, that like turns off her brain and makes her feel safe to be with you.
I love it. All right. It sounds like, and I know you've mentioned this before a little bit, you help people go from like their prince to a king and find their queen. And how do people get in touch with you?
You can find me on Instagram at Nita Chakrabarty. My website is nitachakrabarty.com. I have one-to-one coaching programs available for men who are ready to find their partner, that one. I work with men who are intentionally dating for marriage. Reach out and we can have a consultation. And I have this manual. It's called the Kinks Code, where I talk about the 6 codes that really changes everything. And this is free. Instagram me King's Code in the DMs and you'll receive the manual as well.
Love it. Somewhere on this page or on social, they might be able to do it right there. So look around this video below and go download the King's Code. Go talk to Nita. She's freaking awesome. So I love this. Is a great conversation. I want to thank you so much for coming on and let's do this.